Yo, my people, welcome back to The Venture, the #1 platform for aspiring entrepreneurs. So as you can tell, this one's going to be a little bit different. If you've been here before, you know that we interview millionaire entrepreneurs in the streets of London to find the secrets to success. And it's been a crazy journey. Over the last 2 years, we've interviewed over 1,000 millionaire entrepreneurs. Crazy, the time has flown, man. For this one, we thought we'd dive into the hard drives and find the best interviews on exactly how you can go from zero to £1 million. So I promise you, it's going to be back-to-back value. Stay tuned, it's going to be a banger. Actually, are you an entrepreneur?
I am, yeah.
What do you do? What sector?
I run a personal branding agency. So we look after entrepreneurs and CEOs and build their profile online.
In terms of your success, what's the most money you've made from the business?
1.8 million in a year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the one thing rich people know that poor people don't?
Leverage. Understanding that you don't need to use your own money to get rich is how rich people get richer, right?
Yeah.
Look at all the landlords that own properties. They own homes because that's one of the only assets the bank will lend you money to buy. Look how many people have got Airbnbs. Again, it's one of the only assets the bank will lend you money to buy that you can then create cash from, right? Using other people's money to get rich is how the rich get richer. And people who, unfortunately, like myself, I bootstrapped my business. I didn't need to do that, but I did it because I wanted to maintain control. But yeah, leverage.
And have you ever been broke before? Did you start out with money?
Yeah, I have been broke before. My first business went bankrupt year 2. Clothing brand, year 1, took investment, scaled it really fast. We had celebrities like Colleen Rooney, Cheryl Cole, Daniel Lloyd wearing our stuff. And at the time, they were like the influencers, right?
Yeah.
And then year 2, lost it all. I remember calling my mum from my house that I had to move out of and saying, can I please move home? She lent me £300 and that was how I kind of got back on my feet. But yeah, I lost everything.
If you had to start again, how would you make your first million?
I think #1 would be rebuild my personal brand. So if you gave me 0 followers on all channels today, I would rebuild day 1. Like my #1 thing would be create audience. Because attention is the #1 asset that any business can have regardless of what industry you're in. If you hold the attention, you can sell your products, your services to that audience and they will buy it. I have a very clear goal of what you personally want to achieve. I think if you don't intrinsically want something out of the business that's not tied to a monetary figure or an ego-driven figure, then you're never going to put in the yards to get to where you need to go. So you need to build the business around what you want out of your life. And the third thing I would probably sell is I'd figure out what I was going to sell, and then I base that around what is something in the market that no one else has done or no one else has done well. And I think there's some incredible platforms that you can use to go and find out information of what consumers are doing, what consumers are buying, and what consumers are spending and not spending their money on so that you can make good decisions.
Just touching on that, what you just mentioned.
What a guy! I love it.
Is there a secret software or tool you use to find these opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. So Global Web Index is a consumer platform that basically gives you all the information that you need to know on what consumers are spending money on, what the markets are saying, and they give you stats around social media attention, around what people are thinking about doing, what the internet is saying about specific things. And it's a really great place to go and find out information about your company and potentially your customers. More importantly, if you're thinking about starting a business, it's a great first step to go and figure out what people are actually wanting, and then you can base your kind of decision on that, on what you want to start. There's so many people that start businesses because they go, oh, I need to find a problem that can be solved. But what they don't realize is they need to find a problem that only they can solve. Because as I said earlier, if you want to raise investment or you want to sell to people, they need to believe in you. And if you don't believe in what you're doing, then it's going to fail.
Guys, AI is here to bring your buried ideas to life. About 7 years ago, I had a business idea for a bill splitting app specifically for restaurants. It was a clear pain point and solution. The only problem is I got quoted 100K to build it, so it never came to life. Well, yesterday night I built a full-blown web app in less than 20 minutes for $100. And here's how it looks. No coding, no developers, and no waiting. All from a few prompts. Crazy. So I used the world's first agentic vibe coding platform, Emergent, to bring my 7-year-old idea to life. So if you're like me who has a business idea that you want to launch, forget hiring engineers, go try Emergent now. Click the link below and you'll get 10 free credits to start building out your dream business. So that one there was a banger. Amelia, go check her out on LinkedIn. She's doing big things. One of the biggest voices, female voices that I've seen on LinkedIn. She's got a huge personal branding agency doing obviously millions of pounds. So the biggest takeaway I took from that, first of all, leveraging. So leveraging other people's skills and knowledge to help you build your business. What she was saying in terms of starting a business, today's world has completely changed. So build your personal brand. I know it sounds like a lot. Look, I was always terrified of the camera. I hated being in front of the camera. If you ask my family, you'd never see me in family pictures. I really hated it. But then when I started doing it and I kind of jumped into the deep end, it all changed, and you end up becoming very comfortable, and you might even be good at it. You never know, man. But if you can build an audience, you can always monetize. An audience first. So once you build that audience, you figure out what their problems are. And she also mentioned using a tool called Global Web Index. We haven't checked it out, but it sounds pretty cool. But essentially, all you're doing is looking for problems to solve, but looking for problems that you can solve. What is your unique skill? What is your unique experience? And don't tell me you've got no skills. Everyone has a skill. Everyone has a life experience. Another key one is, what do you want from your life? Don't think, okay, what business idea can I create? What ingenuitive business idea? Think about, what's my life experience? What do I want from my life? And what do I want to spend my life doing? That's your starting point. Figure out your passion. Figure out the problem you want to solve. Leverage other people's time and skills, and you'll get there in no time. Let's keep going.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Excuse me. Random question. Yeah. Are you an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. What did you do?
So I built a business, tech software startup, and then sold it in 2021.
Okay. So how did you start out your business?
I just wanted to be financially independent. That was my only goal, and I was like, I'm going to build whatever business I can to build that. So first I built course business, marketing agency, and then I said, you know what? People young are making good money in tech, so I need to go do that. Mm-hmm. So I moved to Silicon Valley when I was 24. Research markets, and the best market I could find was auto dealerships.
Yeah.
Old, stagnant, people hate buying cars. So I said, if we can make that better with technology, I think it'd be a good business. Mm-hmm. And we built that, sold it for 9 figures in 2021.
That's crazy. You researched the market before starting your business?
Yeah. We spent about 3 months looking at almost 1,000 markets. And the thing that we were looking for was, we wanted an old market that they were paying a lot for software, but the software had to suck. And we wanted some change in the market that was going to make it possible for us to build a business. Yeah. So for us, key insight was, people hate buying cars.
Yeah.
And they're coming open to the idea of buying them online, but can't buy a car online. Yeah. So we said, if we can build the software that allows you to buy a car online, we think that's pretty valuable. Mm-hmm. So we built the online checkout for car dealerships. So I would say, like, order of operations for any like young entrepreneur, start with markets, market determines success, and then look for problems in the market. A really good market but no problem equals no business. Mm-hmm. We found a really big market, over $1 trillion of cars sold, really big problem. People hate buying cars, they can't buy them online. Yeah. Then we built a solution. And it's very specific market problem solution.
Was there a difference in your mentality from going from 1 million to 10 million to 100 million?
1 million, honestly, was just us being young guys who had no idea what we were doing. Mm-hmm. We were just throwing stuff at the wall, and the thing that we had was, we were 25 when we started the business, so we had time and energy. So we would just work like crazy. Mm-hmm. And that's honestly the way that you probably solve the 0 to 1 million phase. Mm-hmm. 1 million to 10 million is really about trying to, in your early entrepreneur, just throwing effort at the wall, what patterns emerged? Mm-hmm. Are there certain scripts that you say that close more sales? Are there certain people that you call that buy more than other people? Are there certain types of customers? So you're looking for patterns, and you double down on those from 1 to 10 million. From 10 million to 100 million and beyond, it's really about taking those patterns and turning them into playbooks and hiring departments to run those. Mm. So at 10 million, that's when we were hiring, VP of sales, VP of customer service, CFO. Yeah. They're running playbooks that we figured out on the 0 to 10 million phase. Yeah. And that's how you do it.
Might have come across a few billionaires in your time in business.
A lot.
What's the difference between a billionaire and a millionaire?
So when we sold, I worked for Upstart. Founder was Dave. At the peak, it's a public company, up and down, he was worth $6.5 billion. Mm-hmm. And I used to look at Dave and I would think, man, Dave is really smart, but he's worth hundreds of times more than me. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's hundreds of times smarter than me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what did Dave do differently? The biggest thing I realized was Dave and the rest of the Upstart team, they picked a market that could be worth hundreds of billions of dollars. My company, we sold for 110 million, but if we had really crushed it, we might have been worth $1 billion, maybe $2 billion. Mm-hmm. And that would have never made me a billionaire. Mm-hmm. So actually, which goes back to, my core message is market selection is actually what makes you $1 billion versus $1 million, not day-to-day execution. Yeah. It's just, you have a big market and you execute.
What are some $1 billion or $1 billion markets that you would recommend getting into?
I'm out of the game, so I'll tell you where to find them, actually. Yeah. So the hack to finding incredible $1 billion business ideas is to go to consulting websites. So these big consulting firms like PwC, Capgemini, et cetera, they release free white papers on markets that are being disrupted, things like that. The reason they do that is they don't actually want to get your money. If you're the early stage entrepreneur, they don't care. They're trying to sell the report or consulting for 500 grand to some Fortune 500 company. So they're doing all this research. They have hordes of analysts that just look for disruption in markets. Go steal their research. It's free on their websites. See what they are saying is disrupting, and then go build solutions for that. That's like the easy hack for it.
Where can people find you?
I'm on every social under the sun at Ask Michia, so it's AskMichia.
Killed it.
That was brilliant. That was so good.
Oh my God.
Wow. Yeah, guys, Michia Rohrssen, check him out on Instagram. I think he's got a YouTube channel now as well. That guy is a machine. It was like talking to the Oracle. I'm not going to lie. All right, cool. So the biggest takeaways, if we boil that right down, market. So start with finding your market. You know, you want to work, you can obviously work hard and make money in any industry, but you want to pick an industry that has billion dollar potential. So market determines your success. Find billion or trillion dollar markets, ideally. Problems, find key problems to solve. And usually that's caused by a big shift in an industry. Looking at older industries that might be disrupted by technology. And then thirdly, create a solution on the back of finding those problems. So it's really key. Market, problem, solution. And he talked about in terms of finding those billion-pound markets, look at consulting websites, Capgemini, PwC. They release free white papers. Have a look at those. And we give an indicator on what kind of market might be right for disruption and where disruption might be coming from, and then figure out a solution for those disruptions. But yeah, that summarizes it. Let's keep going.
That's Timbo. So, bro, how you doing, man? Love your stuff, man.
How you doing? Good?
I'm good.
Do
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, yeah?
Let's roll.
For the people that don't know you, what do you do for a living?
What I do for a living, I now build and sell companies. And in my past life, I built a marketing business called Fanbyte, which we sold for tens of millions when I was 27, so about 2 years ago.
Incredible, man. How did you start Fanbyte?
I spotted an opportunity in the game of influencer marketing. I realized that brands needed to tap into Gen Z, and we could build a business as people who are part of Gen Z to do that and just run it up.
And what's the most money you've made in the business?
The most, okay. As in that my companies have made, or that have come personally to my bank account in a single day?
Okay, you can do that.
The most amount of money that's come personally to my bank account, I like 8.5 million pounds a single day.
Yeah. And then with the business?
I don't know, actually.
What's one thing that rich people know about money that poor people don't?
Money is not a function of how hard you work. It's about how much value you create. You ain't got to grind that hard. You actually got to think about how value is created, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, both of us could go into the same business. Let's say a marketing business, right? We could sell each to 10 clients, but I could only go for the richer clients. And I will make more money than you in that same time frame, just because I'm thinking about how much value can I create for someone who understands that value more. The other big thing that I think rich people do that poor people don't is that they deeply understand delayed gratification. It is very, very hard for you not to get rich if you just keep doing something for a long enough time period and keep learning from the previous things. Like, you have never heard a story of someone who has just put in the reps over and over, has learned what's worked, has learned what hasn't worked. Because logically, if I do everything and I figure out what doesn't work, then I'm only left with the things that work.
Yeah.
So if I just do the things that work, then it has to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's the biggest opportunity for 2025?
I think the biggest opportunity for 2025 and 2026 and 2027 is to help businesses implement AI into their workflows. I get the same feeling with AI as I did with social media in 2015, 2016, which is it's a new paradigm shift, and you don't need to be the best to win. You need to be in a business where you don't need to be the best. You just need to be in the wave, and then you ride the wave. Fanbyte was not the best influencer marketing company in the UK. Maybe in the top 5, top 6. But because the wave was just growing, everybody won. Whether it was us, whether it was Lad Bible, whether it was Goat Agency, we all just rose because the market rose. And if you can do that with AI, you'll make money. Think intently about the market, and then afterwards you then take it and then run it up.
What's the secret to finding billion-dollar markets?
Copy already existing businesses that have discovered billion-dollar markets and just put your own spin on it. I have built now about 5 companies, none of them have been original. Not a single one. I am the world's best copier of ideas. I just find them and then I just attach them to a different audience. Fanbytes, we saw the wave of influencer marketing in the US. We said we're going to move to the UK and we're going to do it for Gen Z. Done. Same way the people who have been successful, where they've literally taken, we're going to do influencer marketing, but we're going to do it for just women. We're going to do it for just Hispanics. And all those companies have gone on to do incredibly well. That's the way I think about ideas.
Have you got any book recommendations?
What sort of thing are you trying to learn?
Discipline, mindset, consistency.
Best book on mindset, psycho-cybernetics. That book to me changed my life. I've now read it now about 13 times now. It's the second best book. It's about business. It's called Ready, Fire, Aim. The guy basically goes through every single stage of growing a business from 0 to 1 million, 1 to 10 million, 10 to 100 million, 100 million, and how it changes. Third book is actually a book about eventually when you want to sell your business. It's called Built to Sell. And so to me, those three books, one gets you in the mindset game, the other gets you in the how to build this business game, and then the third one gets you in the now how to sell this business game.
Where can people find you?
Tim Armoo on Instagram and on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere in your dreams.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes, that guy, beast. This guy is a beast, man. My biggest takeaway was making money is not about how hard you work. It's not about getting that second job. It's about how much value you deliver to the market and whose problems you're solving. So essentially, solve rich people problems and you'll make a lot more money, a lot more efficiently. So he was saying the biggest opportunity today is helping companies implement AI. So whatever industry you're looking to get into, how can you bring AI into that solution and ride the wave, the current wave for 2025 and beyond. Then the last 2 points, delayed gratification, whatever you're doing, consistency, reps and refining, and you'll get there in the end. And lastly, copy and pivot. If you're looking for an opportunity, find a £1 billion market, a £1 billion business, copy it and apply it to a new audience within your passion and within your skill set. And that's all the key takeaways. Let's keep going.
Sorry, my man. Love the shades.
Oh, thanks.
Can I ask what you do for a living?
Yeah, if we can make it quick. I got a date with my wife up the road.
What do you do?
So I run a company called Magic AI. We're building the world's first AI personal trainer.
So what's the most money the business has made so far?
So this year we'll do 10 million.
Okay, so how does it work?
Literally a mirror you hang up in your home. It's got a hologram that pops up and there's a little camera in there. So it tracks your form, gives you live feedback, counts your reps, corrects you when you're doing it wrong. So it's literally an AI personal trainer in your living room.
That's sick, man. And how much money did you start with?
We literally took a loan out with Virgin Startup, which was 10K. We used that to fund the first prototype. I also imported a whole bunch of treadmills from China during COVID and then sold them online and basically used the proceeds to also fund that prototype.
Yeah, should we just get out of the way because loads of people keep coming? If you were to start again, how would you make your first million?
The first thing I would do is take out an Amex card. So here you can take out a gold card or a business card. They'll give you a credit limit of 5, 10, maybe more, 20K. Use that to fund the first Facebook ads, Google ads for your product. Try and aim for a 2 to 3 return on ad spend. So every pound you're spending, get 2 or 3 pounds back. With that, if you're spending 20K a month, you should be hitting 40, 60, 80 in a single month, depending on whatever it is you're selling. Now, if you do that every single month, that's a 1 million revenue run rate right there. And of course, you use the proceeds to pay back that Amex every month, which will give you a 30 to 45 day payment period. So that's what I would highly recommend is take that approach.
What's a £1 billion market that someone can go after today?
The first thing I would do, look at the fact that there's this huge arbitrage opportunity between businesses that are doing really, really well in the US, but haven't quite come over to the UK yet, and in many cases may never actually come to the UK. If you look at Deliveroo, that was actually modeled on Postmates and DoorDash that already existed. Same with Zoopla, that was already Zillow over there. What I would do is look at which businesses are raising venture capital over in the US right now, but don't currently exist in the UK, and replicate that model here, right? It's as simple as that.
What's one secret software or tool that you can use to find $1 million opportunity?
The best one has got to be crunchbase.com. If you go on there, get a subscription, you'll see all the businesses in all the geographies that are raising money at the moment, and you can see which ones are doing well. You can also track who's investing in who. And as I said, with the arbitrage opportunity, you can look at which businesses are raising money in other geographies and just replicate that model here.
That is insane value. That is some real game right there, man. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, good to see you.
That was so good.
Yeah, so Varun, he's a legend. Pretty crazy product, man. So basically a personal trainer in like a mirror. So what a technical product. To get that to launch is amazing, man. So basically what he did was he got a loan out to begin with. So we're not obviously recommending getting a loan, but you basically want to find the capital and you can leverage other people around you, family, friends. And what you want to do is get a prototype. You don't want to order loads of stock. Whatever your product is, what is the MVP? You then want to get the audience. The main thing is getting the audience, whether that's through social media, Facebook ads, that's your top priority. Audience, get sales, pre-sale for your product or your solution, and then you launch the product once you have a market demand already. So lastly, in terms of finding billion-pound opportunities, you can look for arbitrage opportunities between other markets, for example, China or US and the UK. A lot of times, companies in the US and China takes a while before they come to Europe and the UK. So you can look at, companies that are raising funding and getting funding in these countries and bring them over to the UK. He was talking about a software tool that would be quite good. Crunchbase, I'm sure we've all heard of it. Using that to find these arbitrage opportunities. I thought it was pretty cool. Let us know what you think in the comments.
For people that don't know, what do you do?
I am an entrepreneur.
What kind of business are you in?
I've got a group of 7 different businesses. We've got software and technology. We've got a couple of agencies and education and training.
Nice. And then what's the most money you've ever made in a year?
We run at the moment at about $1 million a month worth of revenue.
In terms of your start, did you come from money?
No, I grew up in a fairly normal household in Australia. But when I moved out at 18 years old, I was living on a concrete floor with a mattress on it. I was a Pizza Hut delivery driver. I was working at McDonald's. I was door knocking for roof installation company, working as a barman till 3 a.m. in the morning. That was all at the same time. My hobby was walking because that's all I could afford.
What's the number one secret to creating wealth?
The number one secret, if you're struggling financially, is get under the wing of someone who's creating wealth. No one starts as a number one. We all start as number twos. I did 2 years working for an amazing millionaire. So I'm a really big believer that you start out as a number two. You help make someone else rich. And then in the process, you learn the skills. Ideally, you want to be under the wing of someone who has less than 10 employees, direct reports.
Okay.
You want to be a direct report to an entrepreneur or a wealth creator.
If I had a business idea right now, I have no technology experience, how would you go about building that company?
There are actually websites now that do vibe coding. Vibe coding is weird. You can literally tell the AI in normal language what it is you're trying to build, and it will translate that into a coded up website. So I saw a demo of a company the other day where you say, I want to do Airbnb but for lawnmowers, and it just goes, brrr, builds an Airbnb website with a back end of the database.
What's the secret to launching a business?
I always launch a business by launching a waiting list. So the first thing I do is a waiting list, and it is, we're going to be doing X, Y, and Z. If you're interested in that, join my waiting list. If I can't get 150 people on the waiting list, I'm not going to advance that idea any further. And a really good result would be get 750 to 1,500 on the waiting list. I'm going to send out some DMs. I'm going to do all of that sort of stuff. The software that we use is our software, scoreapp.com, which is essentially the software for easily just using a template and setting up a waiting list. It's the best way to launch a new idea.
Guys, that one was a banger. Hundreds of gems in there, but these are the key takeaways I took away. A big opportunity today. It's never been easier to launch a company. How he says to launch a company is to build a landing page, get a waiting list. You're getting your customers first. That could be using different apps and different websites or vibe coding. For example, Emergent, if you look at emergent.sh, you can build a full landing page and a full website from a prompt. And then you can promote that through social media, through Facebook ads, build your audience, pre-sell, raise funding, and then launch. And that's how you launch $1 million company. Yes, guys, so that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it's a little bit different, but literally non-stop gems back to back. If you just implement one of these gems, you're going to be light years ahead of where you are today, this time next year. Let us know what your favorite gem was from the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.